Why do we call it book reading, children? Why do we call it book reading? And it's because we want to encourage children to understand the value of book reading.
Book reading session with Dr. Kiran Bedi is like nurturing the germinating minds of the youth by building them from within with skills, inspiration and confidence so that they become the strongest yet flexible backbone of the nation.
Hi everyone, this is Vaishnavi Datta from book reading session 52, and I must say that I'm highly grateful to be the part of that session, as personally it has inspired me a lot, and meeting with Dr. Kiran Bedi itself was an unmissable opportunity and a kind of a dream come true. So for me it was very nice, it has inspired me a lot and it has helped me a lot in my life. Thank you so much.
One of my all-time favorite poems would be The Rainy Day by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. In everyone's life, there are these dark days that seem like they'll never pass by. But in reality, there's always that ray of sunshine waiting for you. In this poem, the poet conveys the same. He says that in such times, you just have to be patient. For even in rainy days, there's always the sun waiting behind just to come out.
Coming to my favorite poet, I have so many, but out of them it is Harivansh Rai Bachchan. In my childhood, my favorite poem used to be कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती by Harivansh Rai Bachchan. This poem teaches us that we should never give up and we have to keep on trying until we reach our goal. We have to be bold, courageous and successful in our life. Thank you.
A poem that has inspired me in many ways has been In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. Crae, who served in the Canadian Army during the First World War, had passed through numerous battlefields of the First World War including Somme and the Vipers, where he witnessed gas attacks, which inspired him to write this rendezvous of hope. It speaks of passing the torch and how those who are gone watch on as their successors take up that same torch.
I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere times and times by. Two roads diverged in a wood and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. In the tapestry of literature, Robert Frost's profound insight stands out as the beacon of contemplation. This verse is taken from the poem The Road Not Taken, signifying the exploration of choices and ambiguity, has guided my protagonist's desires for the prospect of uniqueness and independence, emphasizing the importance of personal choice and self-discovery. Thank you.
Had the mind is without fear, had the head is held high, had the knowledge is free, had the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. This poem has not only been an inspiration to me, but also guided me in my journey to write my own book. The entire ocean of Indian Yoga Vedanta philosophy has been compressed into this poem. Rabindranath Tagore got Nobel Prize for Gitanjali, and of course, this poem is an essential part of that. Thank you.
One of my favorite poets that I really admire is Kabir Das. He was an ancient Indian mystic, a saint and a great poet. His teaching gives a great message to the world. For example, this one doha that I really like is बुरा जो देखन मैं चला बुरा ना मिला कोई जो मन खोजा अपना तो मुझसे बुरा ना कोई, in which he means how he went out in the world to find flawed men, but when he searched himself, he found that he was the most flawed one.
Jayadhari Ma, Jayadhari Ma, you children are so bright. जयधारी माँ हमारी ऑडियंस का स्वागत है, आइए जुड़िए और आप सबको बैसाखी की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. You all are so lovely and bright and you all have grown up.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see all of you, and as I told you, you all mean hope. That's what you mean to us.
Good.
And Ichito, I'm on your side today. Okay? Yes, they're all girls. So I'm with you right now.
And with one boy. Thank God we got one.
Team up.
Otherwise, it's becoming girl-dominated sessions.
Yes. They are going to talk about their poems, what they like. They're going to talk about themselves, and then they're going to ask you questions.
Good. Let's first take a round of their introduction. Introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing, where are you going, what are you becoming, what's your ambition. Let's hear a little about your exploits. Anjali, beginning with you, Anjali. We'll hear your points soon.
Okay, ma'am. So, hello everyone. So, my name is Anjali Pari, and I'm in ninth grade in the Global School Kokapet. Right now, I'm just a student, and I have dreamt for I'm dreaming for to become a software engineer, and I like dancing, reading, and the poem I wrote. That's my first poem. So, if you all like it, I would love to write more and more poems in my upcoming days. Thank you.
We're going to come back to your poetry. Jitisha?
Yes, ma'am. Namaste, ma'am. And hello, everyone. This is Jyotisha Hiramit from Pune, Maharashtra. And currently, I'm in 11th standard studying in Ferguson College. Well, ma'am, holistically, I'm a blogger and a student. Where back in the year of 2021, I had launched my own blogging website, now officially on Google, called as the Jyotisha Hiramit Regime, wherein I'm posting my blogs regarding current events happening in consideration of current affairs, where I am also focusing on including expert opinions derived from various reliable sources. And ma'am, with my persistent efforts, I have successfully crossed posting more than 60 blog posts, and yet more to come. And thereafter, this has been my dream project through which I can deliver this summary of important news updates in brief, which could be a great time saver for even the civil services aspirants like me. So, ma'am, I am an civil service aspirant, wherein I'm aspiring to become an Indian Foreign Service officer. As you can see, a big map behind me. This is my inspiration since I wake up every morning and I've been looking at this map. This keeps me going and this keeps me motivated.
Excellent,
Right.
Jitisha. I love the spirit. Now, do a blog on this session today. How you felt about it,
Sure.
what happened. Write a blog on the
Okay.
session and send us a copy.
Definitely, ma'am.
Okay? Okay, Disha.
Definitely.
And maybe some of you could write a poetry on this poem of this session, how it emerged, what happened, what you felt like. See, a poetry coming out of you, a blog coming out of you could be great fun. Anita, Anandita.
Good evening, Dr. Kiran Bedi ma'am, Saina ma'am, and dear friends. My name is Anandita, and I'm studying in ninth grade in the Global School, Hyderabad. I still haven't decided what I wish to become or what field I want to take, but I'm still in the process of deciding. And I love literature, and I'm happy to introduce my first chapbook for a new beginning, which got published recently. It's a collection of few of my poems, and in this collection, I've tried to include a few of the wonders that I've come across. Apart from reading and writing, I enjoy going swimming, singing, and dancing. I'm also pursuing Bharatnatyam through Akhila Bharatiya Gandharva Vidyalaya, and I am thrilled to be here once again and can't wait to recite one of my poems.
Oh, great. Looking forward to. How wonderful you all are getting all rounded talented. Munmun. Munmun, you.
Good evening, everyone. So, ma'am, at first, I would like to say you that thank you so much for giving us this opportunity once again to interact with you. I'm extremely grateful for this wonderful opportunity. And ma'am, we met in 2022, so it's been more than 1.5 years. And
Yes.
ma'am, in this journey, I have become a writer. So I have
Huh?
written this book, The Divine Departure. So, ma'am, as I want to be an IAS officer, and also a writer. So here, ma'am, I have also sent my physical copy of my book to you. So I'd like to know your reviews on my book. And my dream is to write one book, obviously, about meeting you and all these incidents interacting with you. And last time in, I think, October or November, I met Saina ma'am as well. So all these things, ma'am, there's a making me who I will be in future. And ma'am, this inspires me to be a sky high ambitious person. That's why I can proudly say that in my introduction, that I'm not only a 16-year-old, a writer, a student of class 12th, but also a sky high ambitious person. And ma'am, I'm also an Iyengar yoga practitioner. And yes, ma'am, that I want to be an IAS officer, and I seek your blessings. And of course, I want to be an officer, a bureaucrat like you.
Lovely. Thank you, Munu. I'm sure you make it all. Tia, your turn. We'll wait to hear your poem. Tia. Tia Mahajan. Tia, your turn. Tia, you're not hearing us.
She'll connect again. Maybe there's a. Tia,
But
can you hear us?
there's silence. I think only the sound. Otherwise, I see her.
Tia,
Yeah,
Tia.
now.
Good
No
evening,
switched off.
ma'am.
Yes.
I am Tia. Am I audible? I'm
Yes, you
having
are.
some.
Carry on.
Uh, can I rejoin? I'm having some mic issue. I'm not able to hear the
हाँ
other
बच्चे
side.
rejoin. It's okay. Rejoin बेटा. Ipshito.
Okay, Ishito, till Tia joins us, you go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Saina ma'am, and everybody else. It is there is no greater honor than getting this chance again, ma'am. It was an excellent journey the first time, and I think it'll be even better second time. Ma'am, I'm Ipshito K. Ghosh. I'm studying in St. Joseph's College, Kolkata, class 11. Ma'am, I hope I aspire to become a chemist who will hopefully try to bring out certain methods which can help save the environment better while also maintaining our mode of life. I'm also try to be a poet because I believe in what Wordsworth says when he says that poetry is recollecting emotions at a point of tranquility and setting them down in paper to relieve your mind of burden. Thank you, ma'am.
Beautiful tip, Ishito. We'll come back to your poetry. Tia, now your turn.
Good evening, ma'am. Myself, Tia Mahajan. I'm currently an 11th grader at LH Patil English Medium. I belong to a district of Maharashtra called Jalgaon. It's a fairly small district in Jalgaon. And I'm currently pursuing science, PCB, which means I'm pursuing the biology field. I'm into medical or paramedical courses. In future, I want to join some social work or teaching related jobs where I can help various people outside. Means I want to volunteer for social working. I also like to write, but as a self learning or self healing type of way. I love to write. I have co-authored 3 books which are from different publications. I also have a lot of interest in philosophy, yoga, and other various topics, but writing and yoga, these two are my favorite things.
Okay, great. So let's get to your poetry quickly. Turn by turn. Thank you, Tia. Now we look at your poetry as you wrote. Go ahead and recite it. Anjali, beginning with you. Turn by turn.
Okay, ma'am. So, once again, I'll introduce myself. So, my name is Anjali Padi, and I have written a small poem about mother in Hindi actually. So, I'm starting. माँ कैसी होती है? माँ के पैरों में दुआएं होती है. माँ के पैरों में दुआएं होती है. माँ की गोदी में जन्नत होती है. माँ के हाथों में अन्नपूर्णा होती है. माँ के आंखों में प्यार होती है. माँ कैसी होती है? वह ऐसी होती है. पक्षी तो अपने बच्चों को पंख से ढक लेती है. पक्षी तो अपने बच्चों को पंख से ढक लेती है. हमारी माँ हमको अपने आंचल से ढक लेती है. जब कभी भी हमें चोट लग जाए, माँ चाहे जितनी ही दूर रहे, उन्हें पता चल जाता है. माँ कैसी होती है? माँ ऐसी होती है. मैं जब कभी भी परेशानी या चिंता में रहती हूँ, मैं झट से एक झप्पी ले लेती हूँ। 1 सेकंड में मेरी सारी परेशानी छूमंतर हो जाती है। माँ कैसी होती है? माँ ऐसी होती है। मौसम बदल जाते हैं, साल आते ही चले जाते हैं, उम्र बढ़ जाती है, पर माँ का प्यार कभी नहीं बदलता। माँ कैसी होती है? माँ ऐसी होती है। जब बच्चे को चोट लगता है तो पहला शब्द माँ कहकर ही बुलाते हैं। जब बच्चे को चोट लगता है तो पहला शब्द माँ कहकर ही बुलाते हैं। जब बच्चा जन्म लेता है तो पहला शब्द माँ ही होता है। माँ के एक ही शब्द में शांति, वरदान, शक्ति और साहस है। माँ कैसी होती है? माँ ऐसी होती है। धन्यवाद।
शाबाश बेटे, बहुत सुंदर, बहुत
थैंक यू
सुंदर.
मैम।
I'm sure this will be a standalone snippet by Shivani. So Shivani, this is a standalone snippet on Ma, and on Mother's Day we should play this. Shivani, I hope you've made a note of it. So we can standalone snippet of these poetry. Hariki poetry will become as an independent snippet, Saina. And when we have that day, जिसका जो डे होगा उस दिन हम अपने बच्चों की पोइम चलाएंगे. Okay, go ahead. So Anjali, we'll play your thing on Mother's Day when the Mother's Day comes.
Thank you
Okay?
मैम। Sure.
Yes, beta. Jitisha, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, one of my favorite poem from my writings would be the title named "What Am I Feared Of," which is a self-assessed, rather a self-loving poem, which I have dedicated to myself, asking what is that is holding me back? Is it someone else or me myself or my fear? So, ma'am, with courage, I'm asking myself today, what all am I feared of? And recite the poem, ma'am. So I'm asking, what am I feared of? Failing in exams, interview, or hurdle? Well, then I'm consoling. Well, failure is the first step to success. Let's learn from this and not take it as a burden. Burden. Then what am I feared of? Expectations of what people have from me or what I have from others. Well, let's not just expect, or we are the one who are bothered. Then what am I feared of? Rejections of how people take me as they want. Come on, let's just be unique in our own trade. Accept the learnings, rise up for the new glories that await. Let's just agree the fact that it is not a phase, it's just simply who I am. Let's not worry about yesterday and ruin our today. Let's plan for tomorrow and exfoliate the sorrow. Then come back and answer this tough back question: what am I feared of? This was it, ma'am, and this is cordially dedicated for World's Mental Health Day.
Keep
Yes,
writing.
ma'am.
Keep writing. You have it all. You have your own different styles. Keep writing
Hmm.
when the feelings come. Poetry is all about when something gets stuck here and it needs to be written. Okay?
That's it.
All right. Anitha,
Thank you, ma'am.
Um, Good evening, ma'am, once again. So, most of the times when a person enjoys something, they tend to deem it as easy and not a challenge. But when the time comes to put it to a test, it turns out they've underestimated how complicated things truly might be. The poem I'll be reciting today conveys the emotions of a person in such a situation. It's called Logging and Logging. So, here I begin. All I wanted was a prize. Just for them, I'd set my eyes. Unaware of what lies ahead, I let curiosity lead my head. Initially, I did regret, but after a while, ideas met. Thought perhaps this could be pie. Turns out that was a lie. Now I'm in, can't get out, no reason to worry or to pout. Difficult indeed, perhaps, yet simple as my mind pops maps. Afraid to touch what remains, I'm tied up in these chains. Wonder when I'll return, the patience in me about to burn. I had written this poem when poetry, something I'm really fond of, was posed as a challenge. When I accepted a challenge in writing one, I thought it'd be easy, but it turned out the other way, and that there'll always be complications, even in doing the things that you love.
now, Anitha, your poetry is great, but we now need to open our mouth to recite it so that your word is understood. Now, open your mouth and recite it again and speak clearly so that every word is conveyed. Go ahead, Anitha.
So it goes
Recite.
like Yes. It goes like this. All I wanted was a prize. Just for them, I'd set my eyes. Unaware of what lies ahead, I let curiosity lead my head. Initially, I did regret, but after a while ideas met. Thought perhaps this could be pie, turns out that was a lie. Now I'm in, can't get out, no reason to worry or to pout. Difficult indeed, perhaps, yet simple as my mind pops maps. Afraid to touch what remains, I'm tied up in these chains. One wonder when I'll return, the patience in me about to burn.
That's it. While you write a poetry, you must all learn to recite it as well. See, because poetry, if you are asked for a recitation competition, prepare yourself for a recitation competition. Poetry, if to be recited, is every word come out, and then you must stop where it is required, where there's a comma, there's a full stop, there's a semicolon. You need to actually punctuate your poetry. It's like singing a song. See how the singing song, it goes up and down, it has a breathe, so, and then you wait for a while and then you let it sink. See this? See the joy of Ananta? So therefore, now next time when you go, supposing there's a school recitation competition, go for it. But go after practicing it more and more. That's my message to all the poets. Because I do remember in my school time, my sisters, when I belonged to a school, I studied in Sacred Heart School, Amritsar, and how our nuns used to make us recite. And I remember my sister Germaine, who was a Catholic, she was from Germany, Belgium. They were Belgium nuns, and they used to make us open our mouth and then recite. Open our mouth and recite. And we had to recite it so clearly and beautifully, due to which that enables even your communication and even your speaking improves. You don't eat your words. Then you don't eat your words. You speak your words. You understand? And so it's not just the poetry. Now that you are going to be reciting it, you will now also learn recitation and listen to yourself. And maybe you can even tape record, audio record. You listen to it again and then improve it. And then improve it. Right? Got it? This is applying to all. I've not heard the other three yet, but I remember during my time how we were trained to recite a poem. And this is most of these schools in India, they are, I don't know if you are, but I remember during our time, we were trained to recite. Okay, Munmun, your turn. But it's a good poem, Anand. And keep writing. You've already written, and now you keep writing, continue to express your feelings. And whenever you get a chance to for school competitions, volunteer to do your recitation. Not for prizes, but to participate. Let the prize may come and go. But you have that potential, keep raising it. Okay? All right. Munmun.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, actually, in my writing, if I say about my book, even the poetries I write, whether it's in English or Hindi or Bengali, as I write in all these three languages, so my philosophy is kind of same. Like, I believe myself to be a sky high ambitious person, and I believe that we must have mountain shaking thoughts. But being that person, we also need to stop in a place and analyze all the things what's going on and feel the moment. So ma'am, I have written a poem in Hindi, and this is about that.
Go ahead.
तन्हा ये okay. तन्हा ये दिल रोता है, ये खालीपन मुझको भर देता है। नदियां मेरे सामने बह रही थी, पर मैं पानी पी न सका। जीवन महासंग्राम है, एक पल की यहाँ पर कीमत है। मैं कैसे इसे जाने दूं, मैं कैसे इस आंसू के नदी को बस बह जाने दूं। एक सुर है जो कानों में बजता रहता है। तपती सी दोपहर में ख्वाबों की छाए तले मैं बैठी रही। तपती सी दोपहर में सुहाने स्वप्न बह रहे थे। कुछ गम कुछ दर्द रह जाते हैं, समय के साथ सुकून दब जाती है। इसीलिए सुकून को तू खोज मत, सुकून क्या है जान ले।
Shabash. Write in Bengali also.
Yeah, ma'am, I
If you're
do write in
comfortable.
Bengali.
हाँ, Have you written anything in Bengali? Would you like to
Yes,
recite
ma'am.
it? Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. হিংস্র সর্প দংশিছে হায় জীবন বয়ে চলে রংধনু রং কভু যে আমার গায়ে লাগে না আমার সকল অঙ্গে তোমায় খুঁজে বেড়াই অমৃত ছেড়ে শেষে আমি পান করি হলাহল তবু কালি আসে না তো ধরিতে আমায় তুমি কবে আসবে মোরে বলো এ দুঃখ আমি রাখিব কোথা হে দেবতা যদি তুমি সত্য হও তবে জাগরিত হও তুমি হেথা এ জীবন আমি রাখিব কি হেতু এত গঞ্জনা দংশিছে হায় Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Shabash.
actually, here in
Carry
this
on.
poem, it's a calling to the God. Like I believe in Vedantist philosophy that God is not in outside. God's there. God's between all of us, even on the air, but also God is there within us. So here through this poem, it's like if God's there, then the poet is calling the God to become the embodiment of me. It's calling the God to be me. So
Very
that's the
good. Keep writing and put it on your, make it as little blogs. Make your little blog, poetry blogs. You love seeing them,
yes,
right? I think
yes,
we must air your Bengali poetry. We love it. I will love it. And one of our team members is from Bengal, Shakira
okay,
Scott. She's that she. I'm sure she's going to love it. She's going to say, "Joy, joy." It's going to be so good. She'll love it. She's behind the screen. She was with us. Remember when we were introducing
yes,
ourselves
ma'am,
together?
yes,
She is
ma'am.
from
Even
Calcutta.
even ma'am, I have been connected to ma'am because to send you and Saina ma'am the copies of my book, I asked ma'am only to send me the addresses and all. So,
Yeah. So Shakira
but
is
I
going to love it. Good. Now, Upshito, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. So recently this was news in the newspaper about with regard to the ongoing geopolitical struggle in the Middle East. It is something that inspired me to write a piece on what I think is the most defining of human emotions. In the heart of man, a burning desire, a craving for more that will never tire, a feeling that will make itself known, a fire which will burn seeds sown, gold and silver, objects of royalty desired such that men swear fealty. In the hands of such a man, they turn to dust, to be a pebble in his mountain of lust. A powerful puppeteer this passion is, destroys he who claims it his. A predator without claws, it destroys without a pause. The fire burning incessantly, the storm that rages evanescently. The lands are parched with ashes grey, crowning skies once reigned by a fay. The lights of kindness wither out, the drops of mercy allay their rout. The power of greed is defined such that it bends all within its touch. The insatiable passion for gain and gain can only bring sadness and pain. In war, we construe the world destined to burn. If hate, lust, and jealousy man is unable to spurn.
Good. Are you this your first one, or you keep writing, Upshito?
Ma'am, this is I've written a lot of them, more than 10 or actually more than 20. I keep count of them. I usually write when something in the newspaper, some article or something in daily life actually causes an emotional response within me. So,
Right. Keep writing. So these are socially relevant. So sometimes even get them, put them, create your little sites and put them on the site. Let it be read, share. Maybe you can put it on your Instagram or your Facebook. If you do, I don't want you to get addicted to it, but just put it. But now don't keep waiting to see how many people have liked it, how many of the people see the whole day. You will only now keep seeing how many liked it, how many clicked it, how many viewed it. No, 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 not like that. Just post
no,
it
ma'am,
and forget about it.
I do not keep a social media account in that
Then
sense.
you're
I've never
not going to
had
keep it,
one.
then forget it. Then just forget it. Don't do it. Don't do it, because I don't want you to lose even a moment on that. Okay, Tia, your turn.
Yeah, ma'am. So the poems that I write, I'm a great admirer of the beauty around me, the different cultures. So recently, I was searching a lot about Japanese culture, especially the book Ikagai. So I was a lot into Japanese culture. So I read this old proverb called "Fall down 7 times, stand up at eight." It is it is an old saying by which I got inspired, and I thought I should write a poem based off this Japanese proverb. So I wrote a poem which means to have which conveys that we should have a holistic approach to the failures, repeated failures that we face. So the poem goes like, fall down 7 times, stand up at eight. Do you run only to fall? Do you stop only to realize, why do I run? Fall down 7 times, stand up at eight. With each fall, you are picked up by the one you become. Keep moving, keep falling, keep striving, because one day you will stand up again. Thank you. That
How
was
nice.
all. I am
Good.
a fan of short literature which can convey a huge meaning. So this was one of the simple poems that I wrote.
Good. Keep writing. These are very small, small inspirational paragraphs. Okay? Keep writing. Good. Now, should we sign up? Would we like to take the question answer route?
जी जी
All right. Let's go to questions.
अंजलि
Shito, your question?
अच्छा
Yes, ma'am. So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about poems getting translated from their original languages? What are your thoughts with regard to it?
There is both. There is a good side and there are challenges as well. And the good side is, if let me give you the good side as I collected my thoughts. The good side is that it spreads the love of poetry. See, because the moment you share it, as I've been saying, share it wherever you can, spreads the feeling of poetry, the love of poetry. It also becomes a cultural exchange because the poetry does reflect sometimes the culture of that time, right? Depends on what you've written, but sharing the thought, but it's also the culture of the time, and also gives you some new interpretations, right? That's a good side
Yes,
of it. Now the flip side is that sometimes it may lose the nuance. It may lose the nuance, your flow, your feeling, right? The
yes,
emotion. Because
yes,
I've seen translated books when some certain books, the books which I'd written, and they got translated into another language, they never had the same emotion. So
yes, ma'am.
translations have an option unless you have a very good translator who understands the emotion of that word one has written, the poet or the writer. So number one is the loss of nuance, and secondly is also if you get the right voice. Because supposing somebody is speaking the poetry and is translating it, do you have the right voice for it? The
Yes, ma'am.
emotion again, it's poetry is a lot of emotion. Because poetry comes from the heart, it doesn't come from the head, it comes from the heart, it comes from your feelings. And also the equivalence of every language, everybody's not expert in every language. There is a culture to a language. How do you pronounce something? And it could get, if you're not from the same culture, not thorough, it may have the nuances of the language. So there is a good side and there's a flip side. Good side, as I said, it spreads love, it's love of poetry. It also is a cultural exchange and it also offers you new interpretations. But
Yes, ma'am.
the flip side is where the loss of the emotion, or there's
Yes,
a cultural gravity missing, or the depth missing. But it's good to let it go. But the poet, if the poet knows both the languages in which it's translated, and if it is not up to his feeling, he feels let down.
yes, ma'am.
So he does not know what to do about it.
Yes, ma'am.
This is my feeling. But the question is, overall, translating is finding a good translator and speaking up for you in that language would be great. It's worth it. But there's a risk.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Ipshito, is that your question? Numanun, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, my question to you is what are the qualities that makes an ideal bureaucrat? Because, ma'am, I also want to be an IAS officer, so I want to know your points. Like, what are the qualities?
It's the most important thing is a sensitive heart, which beats for the people, because you are becoming a bureaucrat to serve your country, to create policies, execute the policies, work for the people, redress grievances, take toward development, integrity, accessibility, visibility, compassion, empathy. These are all qualities of a good human being. And in that good human being, if he or she becomes a bureaucrat, or he becomes a part of the government service, then all these qualities matter. You never know when you need to be kinder or you need to be tough. But integrity is very, very important. Being courageous, being brave enough against adversity or challenges, law enforcer, being fair and just. All these are qualities of a very good bureaucrat. But a bureaucrat comes to serve the country, not himself or herself. So it's a lot of hard work. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It is 9 to 9, 9 to 9, from the waking up to sleeping, and then living within your means and not following temptations. So all these are things of very good important. That's how people want to be having a bureaucrat, is who is there for them. He's there for the people, not people for them, but they for them, right? That's
Yes,
qualities of.
ma'am.
Okay. So if you imbibe these qualities as a student, as a young girl, as a teenager, then once you qualify, you'll be professionally skilled, you will be trained, and at heart, you'll be a very good kind human being. And sometimes it needs toughness as well. Tough decisions are at risk, so you're able to take risk as well. You're resilient, you fall, as Thea spoke about the problem, you get up the eighth time. You fall 7 times, but you get up eighth time, right? So it's about resilience. And it's also foresight. It's also being visionary. What is the challenge for the government because they're advising the government as well. Advising. They also have to be very research oriented. They need to be updated in the skills. So it's constantly upgrading your skills to serve the country better. So lots of things, right?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
carry on. Next question I'll ask. Andita. Anandita,
Yes, ma'am. So, creating leadership, I dare, the leader within, and many more. So, I anticipate that most of your books are from your first hand experience. So, ma'am, when you tried to pen it, what was your feeling? Did you relive each moment and each experience? And while writing these experiences, have you ever felt a burst of emotion? Can you explain any such scenario?
Good questions. I think that these questions can only come from girls, children like you who are involved into writing. As I said, something stuck here, poetry stuck here, and unless you write it, you don't want to go to sleep, or you feel like expressing it, and then you feel relieved. Oh, I've said it, I've written it, and you want to reread it because it's your expression, it's your outlet, it's your expression and an outlet, right? So this is how poetry is. That's how book writing also is. Asked me many questions. Are from first hand experience? Yes. My books are autobiographical and chronicles of my work. All the work that I did, experiences I felt, who worked with me, how did it, what did we do, what result did it have, did we feel happy, how did we celebrate, how did we feel sad. It's all very, very biographical. So it is based on first hand experience. Why I did it? Because it's so unique to a person and to a situation that first hand experience, if not told, remains with you. So I wrote this as a first hand experience. It is autobiographical. So if you are that oriented, write your journal every day. It'll be a good idea that if you're moving towards that kind of writing your own journal, how you felt today, what did you experience today? Something which you talk to yourself. In one of your poems, you were speaking to yourself. Jitisha was speaking to herself. That was a self reflective poem, poetry which she wrote, Jitisha. Jitisha, your poem was self-reflective. Jitisha has lost
Yes,
the
ma'am.
signal.
Right.
Huh. So Jitisha's poetry was
Ma'am,
self-reflective. So write your journal.
yes.
Then you said, what was your feeling, and did you relive each experience? Yes, feeling was back to the scene. It was a visualization. That is how you could describe it. So you relive it, and then you transcribe and describe it. Then it becomes visual. Then the writing also becomes more expressive, isn't it? So I do relive my experiences, and I do keep a lot of documentation with me. I go back to a newspaper clipping or a report or a note or a little blog which I'd kept in my notes. So I go back to that and then relive it and then write it. So second thing is, yes, go back to visualization of that experience, and sometimes you struggle. How can I get that experience back? Who do I talk to and ask them, ये उस दिन ये हुआ था, तुम्हें याद है? तो क्या किया था हम लोगों ने? So sometimes you also talk to your friend and then you recall the share, and then sometimes the friend tells you more, or your brother or sister tells you more, or your relative tells you more. They say, oh हो मैं भूल गई, ये भी था, and then you relive it. That's how it happens. It used to happen with me. Then you saying writing experience, you have felt a burst of emotion. Can you please share? So it is a burst of emotion. The writing has to be. My writing is not theoretical concepts. My writing is all about a lived emotion. So if the more visual you are, more expressive you are, closer you are to reality, more cynic you are, more you reach the reader better. More descriptive you are, right? So there is a emotion. So write your journals. I would suggest it will help.
Thank you.
Okay, Anindita, हो गया. Now who's the next? Ipshito, your question?
Ipshito was asked.
हो गया. Anindita. Munmun हो गया.
Anjali.
Anindita हो गया. Who's left?
Anjali.
Anjali.
Yes, ma'am.
Anjali,
So
your turn. Yeah. I don't have your question.
actually, I don't have any question to ask you, but
Yeah.
just want to
Carry on.
ask you that, like, how are you so active at this age and so healthy at this age? That's all I want to ask you.
Oh, it's all. Health is in the hands of Almighty. You have to do your best, but health is truly a divine blessing. Good health is a divine blessing. All you can do is do your best. Mind, body, soul, spiritual. You have to do your best, but really, health is a very big blessing of the Almighty. It is not your own कि मेरा मैं बहुत हेल्दी हूँ, नहीं नहीं, मैं हाँ खाती ठीक, सोचती ठीक, सोना ठीक, exercise ठीक, you see, living style ठीक, quality of life ठीक. I think once you have those things on your own, yet it's a very big blessing. It truly good health is a very big blessing of the Almighty. To my mind, I think health is the best gift, a blessing nature gives you. Therefore, all the more important that you support the nature, you help the nature, and you strengthen the nature. It's very important. And secondly, being active is a state of mind. How valuable you consider yourself to be, and consider your time to be. If you continue to value your own time, what would you do? You would do all this and add activity to your time, isn't it? You will add a challenge to your time. So you will find what is productive to your time.
Yes.
So therefore, I do add productivity and activity to my time, which is valuable to me, and it's a value addition for me. And every value addition you make inspires you, makes you healthier spiritually, physically, mentally. See, it's very good. So it's a positive cycle. In fact, the less you do, the less you start doing, and the less you start feeling about it. The more you do rightly, the more you create for yourself. It's a positive cycle. So mindset is also very positive and negative. You can create a negative cycle. I can't do it. I cannot happen. It will not happen to me, and it's not possible. Positive thing is I can do it. I will do it. and I will, it's happening, and see, I've done it. So it's a positive cycle. So age, if you are healthy and if you got this energy, that means it's a blessing to go on doing the right positive cycle and pray that it lasts long.
Sure,
Just
ma'am.
pray it lasts long. Right. Okay,
And
Jatisha,
one more
your
thing,
turn.
ma'am.
Hanji,
One more thing, ma'am. I just want to meet you once offline. That's my dream, actually.
are you
So yeah,
living elsewhere? You living Anjali? Anjali, you're in
I'm
Hyderabad.
yes.
I'll ask my office to tell you when I'm in Hyderabad next for a session, and you can drop by at that event where I would be. I think I would be speaking at Warwick's University very soon, next month.
Okay,
You can come there and see me.
sure,
If the
ma'am.
distance is not too long, don't make the extra effort. But if it's close by, comfortable, you're welcome to come and see me.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else not left out?
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Everybody has
Jitisha,
anybody?
Tia.
Tia, your turn. I don't
Yeah,
have any
ma'am.
question.
So I
Ha,
always wanted to.
you have a question. Yeah, carry on.
Tia and Jitisha.
Tia, your
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, ma'am. So I always wanted to ask this. You were the first female IPS officer, and during that time, it was a social stigma that it was much of a male-dominated field. So did you feel any kind of inferiority complex or like you're different? So how did you dealt with it? Like that feeling of feeling different or I cannot do this. Did you have it and how did you tackle those kind of feeling?
I want to let you know, you children, understand that you already are growing up with some complexes. You're already growing up with certain complexes, biases, prejudices, confidences, etc. So be very careful. If you grow up with any inferiority complex, it carries on with you unless you change it. If you grow up with confident complex, self confident, it keeps growing with you. It multiplies. So if you grow up with inferiority complex, unless you become aware, you will not change it and it will keeps growing up with you. Let's say inferiority complex of my looks, inferiority complex of my city, inferiority complex of my subjects, inferiority complex of the way I speak English, inferiority complex the way I dress up. It's an inferiority complex. But if you finish that and start looking at confidence for yourself, and confident, the opposite of inferiority complex is what? What is the opposite of inferiority complex? Superiority complex.
Superior.
Yeah,
Superiority complex.
that's right. So look at what are the complexes you're having, inferiority or superiority. You need not have superiority or inferiority. You need to have confidence in what you're looking like is good for you. You don't do it for others. You speaking, you don't need to hesitate. Speak and be confident. Dress the way you feel comfortable in. You don't dress for others. You dress for yourself to be dignified and looking nice. You don't have to be expensively dressed just because others are expensive. You dress simply the way you feel like and feel good about it. It's a feel good about yourself. I did not have any inferiority complex when I joined the Indian Police Service. None. I had none. On the contrary, I was not having superiority complex, but I was confident. I was an Asian tennis champion when I joined the Indian Police Service. Asian tennis champion. I had the confidence and not superiority complex that I was better than all the others who joined the Indian Police Service in my batch. I was a both national tennis champion and now, is this the superiority complex? How could I have an inferiority complex being a champion? Now, you cannot be a champion with inferiority complex. So, being a good student, having done well in academics, having done well in sports, I had the confidence. So, why should I have inferiority? And if I had inferiority, I would have probably never dared to write the IPS as my first preference. So, you have to grow up. This book reading sessions is all to let you know how you can benefit from experiences. So, identify if you have any sign of any inferiority in any way, start improving it working on it and neutralize it. But remember, no, don't have to compare with others. Don't compare. I never compared myself with others. So don't compare yourself. Everybody is unique. You have your own strengths and your weaknesses. Others also have this own. You build on your strengths and reduce your weaknesses. But don't compare. You can learn from each other, but don't compare. Okay? Have you understood? Yeah?
Yeah, ma'am. Also, I wanted to just tell this one thing. When I was really small, like in sixth or seventh grade, I'd seen these animated videos of yours, the story times, and at that time, I had a really bad confidence, and I was very low at academics. Like I used to get literally one passing marks, but at that time, I had bad thoughts about myself that I was not good at academics. After seeing those videos, I used to repeatedly watch those videos throughout those years, and in 10th grade recently I got 92% for the first time, above 90%.
So you
Before that
found
I've
your
never gotten above 80% also.
own
And
way to surmount your weakness.
yeah, mom, I used to repeatedly watch those animated videos and I used to get motivated by them.
How lovely, Tia. That's a way. So you see, you became aware, and then you started to look for how can I surmount it, and you found your own way, isn't it?
Yes, mom. Thank you, mom.
Thank you. That this is what these sessions are for: is to inspire each other and take ourselves to the next level, right? Okay, to identify your talent, work on your strength, share it amongst your friends, but believing in yourself. Most important is believe in yourself that you can be doing better and better. You can be more better and better. You have the potential within you. As Mun said that her poetry was, God, come within me, come within me, be with me and be my strength. Isn't it? Isn't it? Mun, Tia?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, now whose question is it? Whose
Jitisha.
turn is it? I don't have any other question
Jitisha.
left.
Jitisha.
Okay.
Jitisha, may
Ishita,
I ask you a
Yes,
question?
ma'am.
Ishita, your question. Yeah, you didn't send any question, but you go ahead. Anybody left who's
Only
not been asked?
Jitisha.
Yes, ma'am.
Jitisha,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have a question? नहीं मामी सब हो गए. Jitisha, you have a question, beta?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, carry on.
Can I ask?
Yes, yes.
Right. So, ma'am, first and foremost, I want to thank your book, Fearless Governance. Well, ma'am, which has not only galvanized us, but has also taught us, the future aspirants, the importance of discipline, great leadership skills, and of course, the fearless governance among the people. So, ma'am, my friend Tia mentioned, as you were the first lady IPS officer back in the year of 1972, where despite the fact that when it was a time primarily huddling against the stereotypes, well, ma'am, we all are more curious to learn on how you dealt with the current known term, which is known as the crisis of conscience. That is, facing a circumstance in which an officer must revolve around either following their moral or ethical dilemmas and following their morality or retaining their duty while maintaining its integrity and professionalism.
See, there should be no conflict on certain things in life.
Okay.
There certain things are fundamental. Why should there be a conflict on being a good person? Why should there
Right,
be a
ma'am.
conflict in being an honest person? Why should there
Mhm.
be a conflict in being a good human being?
Exactly.
Why should there be a conflict in being at peace with yourself? Why should there
Mhm.
be a conflict in being lawful? Why?
Mhm. Okay.
It's why should there be a conflict in listen to your inner voice which guides you rightly? Why should there be a conflict?
Exactly. Mhm.
So certain things are not in conflict.
Okay.
Dressing decently is not conflict.
Mhm.
Speaking politely is not a conflict. Gossiping behind each other, telling tales each other is not a conflict. Don't do it. There's certain things that do's and don'ts of life. So
Mhm.
certain ethics are fundamental. They're called fundamental
Okay.
truths, fundamental right ways of doing things. The more you practice this kind of awareness, the better human being you keep emerging. And you will restrain yourself. Nothing will, you will yourself never get into wrong positions because they're fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
And you are habituated to that fundamental. Your habits, it's like you forming habits now, then habits form you later. And habits naturally make you do the right things, make the right choices. And that's an everyday affair. Valuing your time is an everyday habit. But habit makes you value your time. But you exercise that habit, you value your time by habit. It's all habits. Reading is a habit, yoga is a habit, fitness is a habit, good behavior is a habit,
Okay.
being honest is a habit,
Right.
not being wasteful is a habit, respecting nature is a habit. These are all habits, character habits. Why should there be any conflict or doubts
Okay.
about it?
Right.
Not wasting money is a habit. Being respectful to the elders is a habit. All these are character traits. Once this is your character and your personality, your expression becomes very authentic, very natural. You don't have to be artificial about it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Sana, you can do a summing up, please.
Ji,
Your
ma'am.
last words.
Yes. Children, you all have been very, very lovely. Very lovely.
Excuse
And
me, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I want interrupted you. I really apologize. But, ma'am, we all know about your experiences as an IPS officer. But I want to know about your Vipassana meditation experience, which I saw in the WhatsApp group. I want to know about that. How was your experience?
You cannot begin with that experience in a small way. And that could be every day. Put your quietly sit for yourself. Sit quietly for about 5, 10 minutes. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it will increase. And for those 5, 10 minutes, Vipassana is self observation, where you observe your self. You start observing yourself. But what do you observe with the eyes closed? You observe your own thoughts because the mind is still in thoughts. So don't worry. You will observe what thoughts coming. Gradually they'll become still and they'll become a habit. So traffic, human mind also has traffic of thoughts. Roads have traffic of vehicles. Human mind has traffic of thoughts. So when you start sitting quietly and start observing your thoughts, that traffic jam controls. Why? Because you are no more adding to the traffic. Traffic is coming through eyes, nose, ear senses. When you shut your eyes, there's more traffic and you stop listening and you're not eating. Your traffic has stopped. So the traffic which is already in the mind is getting gradually cleared. So you can see your traffic jam getting cleared over a period. When you keep practicing, then you will very soon you realize the traffic automatically starts getting cleared when you shut your eyes. That's Vipassana. So you can all start a little habit of few minutes of silence daily and increase it gradually. And you can read about Vipassana. But at the moment, I can only suggest to you, like Saina probably would suggest to you, pray during that time. I would say reflect, just be quiet at that time, and then probably end it with a prayer of gratitude. Yes, Saina, your turn.
children, when I tell you to pray, actually, it means all of this. Your 5 and 10 minutes of prayers have to reflect in your 24 hours. Your prayers have to make you more aware and mindful. I'm going to leave you with a few thoughts and questions because you're already writing poetry, so you understand a lot of emotions. How comfortable are you being you? How comfortable are you with your own self? How comfortable are you when there is nobody around? How comfortable are you? What kind of harmony do you feel within? The word harmony is very, very precious. Take away that emotion of harmony with you today. You must feel harmony within. That's one. The other point, at your age, define your values. Define them. What are your values? आपके सिद्धांत क्या है? Once you define your values, you know what all are you going to stand up for. You will not lose your way. It will help you to navigate through life. It will help you to take decisions mindfully. And the last thing I want to say to you is, ask yourself, what are you driven by? What is your driving force in life? What is the fuel that you need to keep you going? आपकी ऊर्जा का स्तोत्र क्या है? From where do you get that energy to keep going? Define that fuel. You must define that fuel for yourself. So think about all this. A lot to think about. And it's good to think, reflect, and then move forward. Because what you think and what you profess, you have to practice. Words can't remain words. So think, and whatever you profess, practice, live it. All the love and blessings with you. Chet Hariman, all the love and blessings.
It's been a great experience with the alumni. I think we will continue with this practice once a fortnight with the alumni. It can be poetry, it can be book writing, it can be creativity. It can be anything. Shakira, I hope you're all listening. It can be creativity. Express your creativity. Somebody's learned an instrument, somebody's written a poetry, somebody's written a book. Let them come with creative. So alumni, creativity, creative alumni, we start making a whole data of creative alumni. So let's see how it goes. Let's go ahead and do this. Lovely meeting you all and wish you very well till we meet again. So when you become senior alumni, you never know, senior alumni. So while you listen to the others alumni once a fortnight, because Shivani must be sending you morning nutrition. Are you reading morning nutrition? Good. So you'll continue with that and share it around and we keep it going as you become bigger and smarter. Bless you. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.
जय थारी माँ बच्चों खुश रहो हंसते खेलते खुश रहो खुश रहो